This particular episode, I have the pleasure of talking with Dr. Sanober, all about holistic healthcare, the gut-skin connection, and how to feel amazing as we age. Welcome, Sanober. Thank you for joining me.
Of course, and thank you for having me.
You are welcome. So, listening to your bio, I think you're almost like the doctor I think we wish we all had with that holistic mindset and understanding, prevention is better than cure. Yeah, and I know for one, sometimes we can go to the doctors and we don't get that mindset at all. We don't get that approach. So it'd be really interesting for you to speak to our listeners about like how did you sort of start having that more holistic mindset in the medical industry? Because it's probably a bit unconventional, really, is it? Would you say?
To be honest, there's a lot of awareness catching up, so you'll see a lot more
Good.
doctors going into that space. But my journey is like I think every conventional doctor's journey, where we face this time in our life where our patients keep coming to us again and again with the same complaints, and you realize you're not doing much. Like, at least for me, my concept of being a doctor was always like, as a little girl, I've always wanted to be a doctor. So my thing was, I want to heal everyone. I want everyone to be healthy. And then when I went into medical school, I studied, I did my residency, and even as an assistant professor at the end of it, I kept feeling incomplete. I felt as if I wasn't doing justice. I wasn't doing what I thought a doctor should be doing. Like, my patients weren't completely cured. Like, they would come back with, like, for example, something as simple as eczema or acne. Like, we would give medications and they would come back after a few months with the same complaints. And I realized we were having this band-aid approach, and so that got me to learn more about the alternative forms of medicine, as they say, Ayurveda, clinical homeopathy, traditional Chinese medicine, the importance of nutrition and diet. That's something that's not even covered in medical school completely. And then when I learned, uh, even after a very personal experience where I lost someone very close to me, and no amount of medical therapy or the advances that we have could actually save him. And that's what got me backtracking again to everything that I had studied. And once I studied the different forms and I understood that till you don't get to the root cause of the issue, you are just going to keep treating, having that band-aid approach to any form of condition, be it a skin problem, mental health problems, your liver, your kidneys, anything for that matter. And yeah, and that got me into the integrative and holistic space. So I do believe there is a balance. There is a time and place for conventional traditional medicine, in those acute crises, in those emergency situations where you need to tide over the crisis. But if you want to eliminate something, you really need to get to the root cause. You have to change your diet, lifestyle. You have to find out what is that trigger, because, yeah, I don't think conventional medicine still has an answer for everything.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. What so when you're working with someone, you must be then holding quite an emotional space for people as well then if you're looking for those root causes and you're kind of, is that right? Do you have to kind of weave in a little bit of kind of therapeutic holding as well as kind of changing lifestyle aspects and things? How do you weave that?
Absolutely. So, my sessions are generally not those typical 5 or 10 minute sessions. Like when I was in university
Yeah.
practice, we just
Yeah.
had like literally 4 or 5 minutes to see our patients. Okay, this is a thing. We had a nurse practitioners keep everything ready. It was very different. But now it's like I have a 30-minute or a 1 hour consult where it's it's that me space. It's just between the client, my patient, and me. And yeah, it's all about trying to understand what is it that is happening. And the beautiful part of discussing everything and like getting everything out is the patient. And like I have so many people tell me themselves that, oh, it is so simple. It is something like this, and I never thought about it. Like, this was the problem, or this was the thing. And like something as simple as maybe certain relationship issues or certain financial issues, like which we would not even correlate to our physical health, but
Yeah.
it does, in some way or the other, creep into Like if you'll go more into the psychological aspect, like Sigmund Freud, the father of psychiatry, how he demonstrated that what we think and our mental health can actually manifest into physical conditions, like literal physical conditions. Something like even seizures can be manifested in a child only because she is stressed because of, her parents going through divorce. Like just for
Wow.
example, yeah. So there are so many things that are interplaying when it comes to our human body. So there is one thing that I've come to appreciate after studying so much,
Mm.
and out of like all the years of experience I have, is our human body is designed beautifully. It is here to help us. It is here to actually uh, survive and thrive. It's just like we made our lives very difficult and messy, I think. And we
Mm.
just need to unclog those things and make it simpler.
Yes, yes, definitely. And I mean, well, I don't want to go straight into the skincare because after this is so interesting, but maybe we could share a little bit actually of kind of what other that example that you just shared about, you know, potentially in a child with seizures or something like that, and how that can be an emotional link. Just from your own experiences, what are some of the things you maybe have helped people understand? Like you said, maybe someone goes, oh, actually it was about that relationship, or it was about this, or, you know, the grief, you know, someone, I lost somebody or something like that, that was, once you got to, what were some of the direct kind of physical symptoms that might have been actually coming out in them? You know, do you know what I mean? Am I making sense?
Yes, yes. So it takes a lot of time for us to actually reach that space, because that
Yeah.
kind of needs to be instilled. They need to actually be even ready to let go. And once they do, what I've literally seen is that sense of relief. Like I
Mm.
would have somebody just email me the next day, I slept 9 hours straight, and
Yeah.
I've never slept like this. Or I just feel great as if I'm high. So I get these kind of responses sometimes, and
Yeah.
it's just that feeling of letting go of whatever's
Yes.
holding you back. I think that is like the turning point when I know, okay, now she's ready, and the healing journey is going to go the way we want it to. Because till they hold back, no matter what I or anyone might give, even if it's a magical drug, it won't work until and unless you are ready for the transformation yourself.
Oh wow, yes. So what you're saying is when you kind of get to that point and people get those sort of more deeper sort of insights or realizations, that's the foundation then that you can build on, and all the other kind of interventions or things that you might be helping them with for a particular medical condition then can start to actually take place, or can actually work. Is that how is that how you're seeing
Absolutely,
it?
yes.
That's fascinating. I love that. And we know from hearing from your bio, you know, you're an expert in dermatology and skincare. How does our skin kind of reflect what's going on in our health?
So, as I said before, everything is like interconnected. There is an interplay of everything. And like everyone knows, or might not know, the skin is the largest external organ. Like before I went into dermatology, I used to actually feel that dermatologists are only going to take care of the cosmetic aspect. It is like, do this, do that. And
Yeah,
I used to
yeah.
make fun of them myself.
Yeah.
But after I got into it, I actually realized it is so much more than what meets the eye. And our skin actually reflects what we think, how we feel, how our body is in terms of what we're eating, how we are pooping. Like, I know
Mm.
this might be a lot of information, but all these things actually get reflected. And uh, yeah, I like for me now, when I have someone walk into my clinic or when we have these virtual consultations, and when I'm just like observing like the skin or observing them speak, I can literally tell now what is actually happening, like to some extent, definitely. And
Wow.
yeah, just looking at their eyes, looking at the area around their eyes, looking at the way the lips, the way they smile, their cheeks, their hands, like certain things if they're popping up. Like I'm not specifically speaking about conditions, even if someone is completely flawless, but they might have this thing where they are they're not happy with the way they look. Sometimes people are like, I always tell them, you're perfect. Like everyone is beautiful in their own sense, but they always will focus on that one little that thing that they're not very happy with. And then it's about making them understand those other 10 beautiful things that they already have, and then minimizing that one thing, or probably if there is an underlying problem or a condition, then going and healing that and taking care of it.
But you say, I mean, that's amazing how you can see when somebody comes in, you're kind of already got that amazing insight and knowledge to sort of look over them and sort of tell a bit like it, to me, I'm hearing it's a bit like a window into like what their overall health or even emotional state is.
Yes, yes.
Wow. So what are some of the things, is there some sort of even, signs maybe you could give people that be like, oh, is it as clear as that of like, oh, if got a lot of bags under your eyes or very dry skin, or it could be an indicator of this or that. Is it as simple as that or not?
So there are these literal things where, as you said, if there are bags under the eyes, we know it is related to a problem with your kidney, probably. Or if you have dry skin, it is again an imbalance of your like gut issues, or you're not having enough fatty things into your diet. Like there is in Ayurveda, they say it is a component of Vata. So there are many things that come into play, but I personally believe it's not that simple. It's not black and white. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
okay.
gray in between. And the reason why I say this is it's just again out of experience. I've seen there's not this one thing that I can point out to. There are multiple factors that come into play that are contributing to whatever the person has come with complaints of. And it is identifying those little small triggers that will help actually completely get rid of something, or even for that matter, trying to stay healthy.
Mm. Okay, so it is I mean, obviously it is complicated. I was like, oh, I really want to know. That's my brain. Like, oh, I want to, be able to see like, oh, if you've got this, is it an
I
indicator of
wish there
that?
was
But
an answer like that. Like I
yeah,
could say, like, if it is this, it is this, but it isn't
no,
really. And the
no.
reason why I say this is because every human body is different. Everybody is different. So even if like we'll never see a textbook picture ever. I haven't
No.
seen one in my like 9 or 10 years of practice, to be honest. Like actually like even have the same condition manifest the same way. Everyone is different. Everyone is going to react differently to the way, to even the kind of healing modalities I subject them to. It's just
Yeah.
it's like I have to take cues from what's happening and then build up on it.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense. But would it be fair to say that if somebody's listening and they have got quite a lot of skin irritations or upsets or things like that, that it is that they could sort of assume that, okay, something is a bit out of balance or not quite going okay in my health? Would you assume that at least, maybe? Or
Yes, one thing that I would want everyone to understand is if they have something related to their skin or just their overall health, it is your body trying to tell you that it needs help. It's actually your body's way of giving you this indication, and it'll always start with subtle signs. And the problem is we always ignore it by the time it really we see a full-blown manifestation, and that's when reversing it becomes difficult. And that's why I always say prevention is better than cure.
yeah.
Because if you start seeing those early signs, if you start understanding what your body is trying to tell you, you will actually be a lot more healthier and happier in the long run.
Yeah. So rather than trying to just like, oh, I'll just put an extra cream on that and put an extra, it's actually going, no, okay, there's something my body that it's a sign here that it's something I need to tend to a little bit more, and you can
Yes.
start to investigate it a bit more. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it already a little bit, but what's this link between your gut health and your skin? Because I know we all, gut health is very sort of popular to talk about. We all kind of know that sort of gut brain, it's how it affects our emotional health and our mental health a little bit more. So what's the relationship there between our gut health and our skin?
So what I like to say is there's a beautiful interplay between our gut, brain, and our skin. And the reason why I say this is, so I want you to imagine your gut as this entire system and like entire universe all by itself, which has like millions and trillions of these microorganisms that are growing and thriving. And believe it or not, they are actually influencing every other cell within the body. So we call our gut as the second brain because it can produce different chemicals, neurotransmitters, which will then influence the different organs of our body, specifically the brain and our skin. And the reason why I say the gut-skin axis is really important is because just as we have microorganisms within the gut, we also have a very, very beautiful like layer of organisms thriving over our skin. And both of them communicate. I know it might sound weird, like how can they? But there are these different messengers that go. And so if our gut is not in a healthy system, if those microorganisms over there are not very happy with us and we have the bad ones thriving more than the good ones, then they are the ones that are going to dominate all the processes happening within the body that we don't want to take place. So generally what's happening is, imagine there is a seesaw with the good things happening, all the physiological processes, all the good chemical reactions happening, and there are the not so good ones happening. So the good ones are keeping the not so good ones in check. All
Got
right.
it.
But the
Yep.
problem is if you're going to let the not so good ones thrive, then is when we are going to manifest in different forms. And everyone, there are a lot of signaling pathways, there are a lot of things that affect each and every cell within the body. So if you keep your gut healthy, you're going to keep your brain healthy, you're going to keep your skin healthy. Basically, you need to keep those organisms happy, the healthy ones happy.
Brilliant. So I know everybody's going to be like, how do we do this? So what, and we hear so much information about gut health as well. And so I think, to have you as such an expert on here, just to give us some real clear, like, what is there some clear do's and don'ts really about gut health, or how we can really help our gut?
Absolutely. So again, it's not like black and white again. There is a
Damn
lot
it.
of
Fine,
um,
okay.
well, there are a lot of things that one can do, but like if we have to like set the foundation, as simple as it might seem, first being mindful about what you put inside your body. I don't want to
Yeah.
give a lot of details and eke everybody out.
We could go there, but I get what you're saying. But it sounds like you've got quite a lot of information on your YouTube channel, have you? If people did want to go, is that more? You've got more stuff on that particularly?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
so that would be
Yeah,
a
I
good
cover a
place.
lot of topics, right, from skincare, hair care, and healthy aging. It's everything related to that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like sharing what I know. So it
Mm.
will be beneficial and helpful for everyone.
Great. So if you want to like that deeper dive into gut health, then yeah, people could check that out. And you just mentioned actually that sort of healthy aging, and I wonder if we could go into that a little bit, and maybe any particular tips or secrets to that kind of healthy aging, and how we can do that. What would your be advice for people there?
So one thing that I always tell all my patients and clients when they're really when they come to me for like the aging aspect is, instead of trying to fight the aging process, if we are going to work with it, it is going to help us in a more beneficial manner. So again, it when I speak about aging, I'm not just speaking about the wrinkles over your face. I'm speaking about your bone health. I'm speaking about your mental health, because the number one cause of death today in the 21st century is clearly an epidemic, is Alzheimer's. Right. So aging isn't just about how you look, it is about how you feel, how sharp you are, how mobile you are. And all these things can actually be taken care of in very simple, again, everyday things that you do, and modifying them to so that they work in your advantage. When I speak about aging, I'm not just speaking about the wrinkles over your face. I'm speaking about your bone health. I'm speaking about your mental health, because the number one cause of death today in the 21st century is clearly an epidemic, is Alzheimer's. Right. So aging isn't just about how you look, it is about how you feel, how sharp you are, how mobile you are. And all these things can actually be taken care of in very simple, again, everyday things that you do, and modifying them to so that they work in your advantage.
The other thing I really wanted to go go and sort of talk a little bit more with you about, particularly because, you know, we're talking a lot about overwhelm and burnout in the spacious life, and a lot of people are going to be listening to that about having that in their lives. And I really wanted to hear from your medical perspective what burnout is, and I'm saying this because, and I'm saying from experience myself, is also because a lot of the time we might start to feel that burnout. So, you know, we're feeling lots of fatigue, with, you know, brain fog, irritable all the time, you know, feeling like, oh, I just can't do anything anymore. And it's really easy to start to think of it as it's like our problem, or like that we're kind of making it up, or we're being a bit useless, or, you know, start to think, oh, why can't I do something? And, you know, everybody else can, and, you know, that kind of stuff. And then we can go to a doctor, and unfortunately, they often don't actually help you out. They don't have that holistic mindset like you do. And it can feel a bit like it is just put back on you. Like, sorry, you know, we don't really know what it is. Sorry, I've definitely had that experience. So I wondered, you know, with your knowledge and expertise, what you would say, what kind of burnout is and how it could be affecting us physically.
So when we speak about burnout, what I like to tell and ask everyone is the first question I ask is, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Because a very important sign of health for me to gauge as well, and that I tell all my patients and clients to understand is, if you wake up in the morning feeling that I am excited to do something, even if that is going and dropping your kid to school, spending time at home, just laying in bed and reading a book, or working, going for your job, whatever it is.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? And the day you start to feel that, okay, I need to drag myself out, and I'm not liking what I'm doing, or I'm not feeling fine, that is when burnout actually starts. And the problem is, we again tend to neglect it till we reach that stage where we can do no more. We either don't want to do the particular job or task that we are supposed to do, that we think we are supposed to do, or our body is not capable of supporting us to do what we wish to do. Because sometimes what I see is there's a lot of disparity between, again, the way we feel and how our body is supporting us. There's a lot of mismatch. So even if you want to do something, maybe your body isn't supporting it, or maybe something is expected of you, because we are staying in this age where everything is now digital and virtual, and social media has taken things to a different crazy level, to be honest. We see this perfect life of how they start their day in the morning to how they're doing. I wish they showed more about how much goes into actually creating that 1 24-hour vlog or one morning routine. And there are no day is going to be perfect. Like, perfection is a myth.
Yes.
Once you understand that, once you accept that, uh, and stopped, and I think it's even I don't want to just say it is we as women do it, but I've seen
Yeah.
in general, it's my experience, and from my personal experience, I think as women we are more emotional, and we want to play a lot of roles at the same time and try to be these super moms or superheroes or everything for everyone. We want to be like the perfect wife, the
Yeah.
best girlfriend, the best mom, the best sister, the
Yeah.
doting daughter. We
Yeah.
want to play all these roles. We want to be the alpha female at work. We want, like, it depends what we want to do. And
Yes.
sometimes it is important to just let go and say it is okay, because not every day is going to be perfect. Not everything is going to be perfect. And the problem is, we reach that stage of, again, I can do no more, that burnout, that physical fogging. Again, it could be just because of the amount of thoughts that are running. A very simple thing again I ask everyone is, shut your eyes for a minute, just for a minute. And they'll be like, after 5 seconds, they'll be like opening their eyes, and they'll be like, okay, now what? And I'll be like, what were you thinking? And they realize we haven't like really shut off or given ourselves that me time at all. There are some thousand or 10,000 thoughts going through that split second, and we're always thinking about what to do next. But it is okay to just pause and say that this is not something that I want to do, or just learning to say no sometimes uh, can really help. So I hope this makes sense. I hope this is
Yeah, it
helpful
does.
because um, I have seen and experienced again a lot of women, especially, they carry this emotional burden with them and that feeling of guilt that probably I'm not doing enough. And what I want everyone to understand is you are beautiful and perfect the way you are. And it is just a matter of time. Like another thing that I always like telling everyone is if you're going through a bad phase in life, whatever it is, it's going to pass.
Yeah.
It's up to you how you're going to make use of it, how you're going to let that time pass. You can either take that time to internally reflect to where is it that your body or your mind or your relationship or your house needs that kind of pause and resetting. And I don't think it is weak to ask for help.
No.
I think sharing it, talking about it, and getting that kind of help is a very empowering step that you're taking for yourself.
And so, and if we are feeling that level of overwhelm and burnout, and you're waking up, like you might say, like you're waking up feeling like, oh, I don't even want to have my day, do what I'm doing, just feeling exhausted or feeling just kind of despondent about everything. I think I assume you wouldn't say to people, it's like we can often feel then we've got to push through that even more. It's like, okay, now I need to keep pushing. Now I just need to keep, even though I'm tired, I'm just going to start drinking more coffee, or even though, whatever it might be. Whereas you're saying, actually, those signs, they're the first signs. Like if we can pick up on those signs, ask for help, allow yourself some space, that's the way through it, not to keep pushing through and covering it up and pushing it down, right?
Yes, definitely. It's just going to pile up
Yeah,
till, yeah, you
yeah,
can take it no more. And why reach that stage, right? And even if you do, I always say, like as I said, we are like refreshed and renewed every 6 months. You
yeah,
can start now wherever you are. There is always
yeah.
hope. There is a possibility of getting back. It's again a matter of whether you want to. It all comes
Yes.
down to you.
Yes, that's such a great place to kind of finish there, and so empowering. Thank you so much for sharing all that. I think it really is useful. I feel it so useful actually hearing it from a medical perspective, because again, I think whether it's right or wrong, it somehow makes us feel a bit more validated that this is not just in our heads, all those kind of dialogues that we can start labeling these sort of things as. That it's just like, no, this is real. This is something, you deserve to take time for yourself and to take care of these
Definitely.
things. And yeah, and to hear that actually there's always hope. You can regenerate yourself in 6 months. Like that's so cool, isn't it? So yeah, I think that's hopefully a really, really powerful place to leave people, especially if they're feeling kind of overwhelmed with health conditions or things like that at the moment. So thank you so much for sharing that. But before we go, I would love for you just to talk about your free gift, your offer to people.
Yes. So, what I have is I have a lot of videos and resources on my YouTube channel as we discuss healthy aging with Doctor. But I've created these ebooks because I have a lot of people who go into the DIY kind of section once they go into the holistic path. Like once you realize the kind of skincare, how toxic it is, they want to go into like probably just DIY it or go all natural. So,
Yeah.
but that is a very messy space again. So, because there are a lot of things that you're not really supposed to put over your skin or that can do more harm than good. So, I've created this ebook where I have these simple but really easy and safe DIY skincare recipes. And it's kind of your way of pampering your self-care routine that you can include within your regimen to just give yourself that me time. And the Glow from Within smoothie guide is, I always believe if you start your morning great, the rest of your day is just going to follow in a very beautiful manner. So again, smoothies, I've seen they're sugar bombs, the ones that we generally see. But so if you're like really busy and you're on the go, but including really healthy fats and good combinations is what I've shared in the ebook, is how you can start your day on a very nice note that is going to support your health, your well-being throughout the day and in the long run as well.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. And if people listening want to grab that, then there'll be a link with this episode. So go ahead and grab that. Thank you so much, Sanober. It's been amazing to have you here. And thank you for sharing your expertise. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And I hope everyone continues to stay healthy, happy, always. Stay blessed.
Thank you. Thank you.